So the first thing that comes to mind on September 29th, today's feast, is the name Michael. Through the years, this was dedicated to Michael the Archangel. And sometime after Vatican II, the archangels were added to that. So it's Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. Michael was a significant name and is a significant name in my family. When my grandfather, SCURTI, came over from Italy, from Abruzzo, his name was Constantino. Somehow, at Ellis Island, or one of those places where he came into the country, either he could, well, he definitely couldn't write his name. I knew that because he always marked it with an X. He couldn't be understood by the attendants at Ellis Island. So he said Constantino, but I wasn't there. I can't imagine what it sounded like in his Italian Abruzzese accent. So my grandmother tells the story of, so the guard just wrote down Michael, and his name's not Michael at all. His name is Constantino, but that didn't sound right to probably an Irish guard's name ear. So Michael became his nickname, and they called him Mike, but he wasn't Mike at all. When my brother was born, the first grandson, he was named Michael. When his son was born, again, Michael. The first one was Salvatore, and the second is Michael. So today is Michael's name day, and Italians would say this animostico, the day in which your name is remembered by the angels and the saints. So I have Michael, my brother, who is in heaven, I hope, but I think he is, watching over us and all the prayers I've done for him. Michael, my nephew, whom I love dearly, and Michael, my grandnephew, whom I also love dearly. So Michael's significant in my family history. And sometimes people got to be careful what they name their kids, I think, because people live up to their names. Now, Michael is the one who, in the angels, in the scriptures, and we heard today from the book of Revelation, Michael is the one who defended God's honor. Michael was a fighter, and we heard it very clearly. The story background is basically there were angels around God. Again, this is all spirits, but spirits that have extraterrestrial positions in God's kingdom. And we believe that the angels are around God's throne, adoring him, giving him honor. And there were many angels, okay, many angels. But there is one, and you heard his name referred to here, who was very beautiful. He was called Light Bearer. He was so beautiful. Now, I don't know how that was categorized, a spirit being beautiful, but he was beautiful. His nickname was Light Carrier. He was so beautiful, so enlightened, but he was also a narcissist. It went to his head. Again, we're talking spirituality. And the nickname he had in English is Light Bearer, but in English it's Lucifer, Luciferos, the one who carries light, Light Bearer, because he was so beautiful. And the story goes, according to the book of Revelation, that he decided, I am who I am, and that's God, and I'm just as good as God. Think of that as sin, because that's how it comes down through the centuries. That's what sin is, basically, thinking you are as good as God, or your word is as good as God's word. And he said, I will not serve. I'm not going to serve God anymore. I'm all right. I got my own followers, people who follow me, think I'm wonderful, angels who follow me. And Michael, whose name comes from Quisu Deus, he who is like God, defends God and God's honor. That's why you always see Michael, the archangel, with a armor and a sword, and he's throwing Lucifer out of heaven. And here you see his nickname, and where it originally comes from. He was turned into a dragon, the ancient serpent who is called Devil and Satan, and whose task was to deceive the whole world. He was thrown down into earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. That's our theological beginnings of hell. So Michael, who defends God's honor, throws Satan, devil, Lucifer, all the same guy, same spirit, out of heaven. And then we have his role. And Michael has been the defender of our church and defender of many, the police, the firemen and women, and defender of the world in times of battle. The great churches throughout Europe, all of them, all the countries throughout Europe, have something dedicated to Michael because of his intervention in their salvation through war. Think of the castle in Rome, Castle Sant'Angelo, Castle of St. Michael, and the statue is on top. That's where the image of Michael appeared when forces were entering Rome to annihilate the Pope and to annihilate the Vatican, and the angel Michael appeared on the castle of Hadrian and defended Rome. There's another one in South Italy, Castle Mont Saint-Angelo, and we have the one in France, Mont Saint-Michel, and many countries. You know, and you always think of Michael on a hill, on a mountaintop, defending us. That's important for us as history. The other two archangels have jobs in the scriptures that are different. Raphael was an accompanying saint. He accompanied the prophet Tobit and healed Tobit and watched over Tobit and his family and healed him. He gave him back his sight, and he became the saint that accompanies us on a journey. So when we're taking a journey, we always pray to Saint Raphael, who accompanies us and gives us God's grace. And of course, Gabriel, that was Raphael. Gabriel, we know Gabriel, his famous Gabriel at the Annunciation. He's the one who announced to Mary that she would be the mother of the Messiah, Jesus. So Gabriel is the saint who announces God's word. That's history / theology / spirituality, all wrapped up. And we as Catholics have that rich history coming from the scriptures and our own history. Jesus Christ is pure spirit and also pure man. So we have that appreciation of spirituality and history in our faith. And it attaches us to God. The angels attach us to God, bring us closer. And the tradition, and tomorrow is the feast of all the angels. And not tomorrow, but in 2 days, the guardian angels, October 2nd, the feast of all the angels, the guardian angels. But all of us have angels, spirits from God that guide us and work with us. And I don't think at times we appreciate them enough. But they are spirits, and maybe that's why we don't appreciate them enough. Because they're spirits, we don't see them. We have paintings, of course, of all the angels that artists came up with, but we don't see them. But that's the root of spirituality, that's the root of faith, to connect with the inner angels and our inner selves. That's what prayer is all about. We go inside and we give praise to God. We go inside and we ask God. And the angels guide us. So it's very important for us to rely on them appropriately, to use them as models of announcing good news, like Gabriel, accompanying one another through life, like Raphael and Tobit, and of course, to defend our faith. We don't have to defend it with a sword necessarily anymore, but we have to defend it through our prayers and action, and ask Michael to guide the church and defend the church. He was one of the saints we appealed to, especially during the height of COVID, to defend the church. So we can't leave it to them alone. Our job is to act like an angel, not be invisible, but act like an angel. And what the angels are? They're emissaries from God, and they're spirits that God has around his throne, praising him, but doing his bidding. And that's our task, to bring the word of Jesus into the world through our faith and our action. So today we honor Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, and all the angels.